Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. It's Officer Matthew with IUIC New Orleans, and this is our In the Classroom class, all right? So today we're going to be talking about the effects of PCOS, all right? The effects of PCOS. It's a big epidemic among our people. A lot of our sisters, they deal with this. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, all right? And it plagues a lot of our people more than I knew, until I started actually speaking about it, and then they had a lot of people that wanted to know more about it. So this class is going to be, an educational upliftment of the people who deal with it and a course of action to take in order to overcome it, all right? Because it can be overcome. I have done it myself with my wife and with another sister in the body, so I know that it works. I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. What I'm telling you is what I have proven and what I have done to get rid of this disease that plagues a lot of our sisters. All right? So we're going to start off with Romans chapter 15, verse 4. All right?
This is the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
So the things that was written aforetime was written for us to learn from, all right? That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So we're hoping that today's lesson will give you all comfort in the scriptures, because PCOS, it strikes a lot of our sisters, and some of them think that there's no hope, or they think that, they can't ever get out of what they're in, all right? But we're here to show you otherwise, that the Lord made these medicines out of the earth, and the Lord made a way for you to overcome this sort of disease, all right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start off in the book of Sirach, all right? We're going to start off in the book of Sirach, chapter 30.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold.
So we got to understand this. Health and good estate of body are above all gold. Have you ever ran into somebody that was rich? They had all the money in the world, but they suffer from mental depression. They suffer from cancer. They suffer from terminal illnesses. You talk to those people, a lot of those people would give up most of their money in order to be perfectly healthy. Read that part again.
Health and a good estate of body are above all gold.
Health and good estate of body are above all gold. Read.
And a strong body above infinite wealth.
You could have all of the wealth in the world, and you got plagues in your body, you still feel like nothing. You feel worthless. All right? Read on.
Verse 16. There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart.
There's no riches above a sound body. And hopefully today's lesson will give you sisters and a lot of you brothers who have wives, it will give y'all the key to getting that sound body. Read it again.
There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart.
So hopefully this lesson can give you all joy. Read on.
Verse 17. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness.
We're going to return to this scripture. I wanted to read it because PCOS also brings about depression. Depression brings about suicidal thoughts. All right? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to see what PCOS actually is. All right? So play that causes video.
Hi, I'm Dr. Roshni Sangani. I'm a consultant endocrinologist, and I see women with PCOS every day in my office. So I'm here to give you some tips on how to live well with PCOS. The first one is genetics. PCOS tends to run in families. So if your mom had it, you have sisters who have it, or aunts or cousin sisters who have it, that increases your chances of having PCOS. You may think your mom doesn't have it, but it's possible that in that generation, they weren't able to get themselves diagnosed. So maybe go back and talk to your mom and see if she had similar symptoms as what you're facing. The second cause is weight gain.
So, first cause, maybe genetics. Maybe genetics. Now, if you look at it, all right, a lot of people say that these things are genetic, right? They say, oh, if you're black and you have heart disease, that's genetic. It's not genetic. It's environmental. If you eat the same crap that grandma ate and grandma had diabetes, what you gonna have? Diabetes. If you eat the same crap that grandpa had and grandpa died of a heart attack because he got heart disease, what you gonna get if you eat the same thing he do? Heart attack, heart disease. It's not genetic, it's environmental. It's that thing, nature versus nurture. Your environment is going to make you susceptible to these things, not just genetics, all right? Now, rewind it a little bit before she said the second point. Now, the second point is the heaviest point of all. Play it.
Symptoms as what you're facing. The second cause is weight gain. Oftentimes, there's a confusion and a person who comes to me thinks that PCOS caused them to gain weight. It's actually the other way around. You had a tendency for PCOS your whole life, and then when you gained weight, that's when the hormones went out of balance. Make no mistake, there are definitely women who are extremely lean, and in spite of being lean, they have PCOS. The third thing that causes PCOS.
Stop. So, it said the second cause for PCOS is weight gain. Weight gain. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about it. They don't like to talk about it, but guess what? It's a fact. It is weight gain. Weight gain will cause PCOS symptoms to get worse. If you're already susceptible to it, guess what? Weight gain is going to cause you to even more be susceptible to it or to just get it. And you don't know how to deal with it. So then you start taking all of these different medications which exacerbate your weight gain. All right? Now, play on.
Is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is seen in both obese or overweight as well as lean women who have PCOS. What is insulin resistance? You may have heard of this hormone called insulin. It's famous because of diabetes. So let me explain. Think of insulin as a key. It's a hormone that acts like a key in your body. It goes throughout your entire system, opening the locks so that glucose can enter into the cells and do what it needs to do inside by providing energy. When you have insulin resistance, that insulin is just not getting into that key or that keyhole. It's not able to turn properly. And then glucose is not able to enter where it needs to enter. So then you can realize this is what gives people a higher chance of type 2 diabetes. But this actually plays a role in PCOS as well.
Stop.
It happens throughout.
So, the same things that give people type 2 diabetes gives women PCOS. You have insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is an out of whack balance of your glucose levels in your body. So when you look at it, your diet, give me Sirach 30, jump down to verse 25.
Sirach chapter 30 and verse 25. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
So if you have a cheerful and good heart, you're going to have a care for your meat and diet. I'm hoping that this lesson will give you a cheerful and good heart to know that, man, I can overcome this thing. I can really beat PCOS. Because there are examples that I have personally that I've watched sisters beat PCOS from a very mild form to a very extreme form. They've both beat them. Both of them have beat it. All right? So when you look at these things, besides genetics, like they said, but weight gain and insulin resistance. Now, the reason why she said that there are very lean or slim women that have PCOS is because of the insulin resistance. But let's say you have insulin resistance and weight gain. That's a double whammy. Come on, you're setting yourself up for failure. You can't do this, all right? And I know a lot of people, they like to say, oh, well, black women are just naturally bigger and all of this, that, and the third. Well, all righty. All righty. So I'm going to address that too. I got to address that too. I have to do it. When you look back in the 60s and the 70s, our women wasn't all that big. It's the same women. The same women. So if we're saying this, black women are just bigger, then you're saying it's genetics, right? So if it's genetics, then how come the women have gotten bigger over the years? Look at Velma from Good Times. Everybody liked Velma from Good Time. Everybody did. But guess what? She was slim. Look at Suge Avery from Color Purple. She was slim. Look at who else? Who else? Let me think. Yeah, Cicely Tyson. She got older and still stayed small. Because she came from that era where women were small. You know what I'm saying? Look at Angela Bassett. We saw her as a young woman. You know what I'm saying? You can take care of yourself. She looks younger now than what she did when she played Tina Turner. When you look at these things, it's like, man, well, how did they do it and everybody else didn't? It's your environment. And a lot of times, read that scripture again.
Sirach chapter 30, verse 25. A cheerful and good heart.
Stop. A lot of times, our women don't have a cheerful and good heart. They're stressed out. So they binge eat or they comfort eat. And a lot of times when you comfort eat, that's not good stuff to eat. You're eating a lot of fast food. You're eating a lot of horrible things, a lot of processed food, a lot of stuff that's high in carbs, high in sugars. And then all of that is going to your body and it's destroying you. And it's causing this thing called polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is preventing you from having children. It's giving you facial hair. It's giving you mood swings. It's giving you depression. All of this stuff comes because of the things that we put in our bodies. All right? The things that we put in our bodies, these are the main causes for this disease. It can be beat, but we have to address the elephant in the room. We have to. A big majority of it is due to the size of our people. Now go to that other article about obesity. Now this is from the Department of Health and Human Services. Okay? You have to make that bigger. Bigger. Yeah. All right, read that.
Obesity in African Americans. Bullet 1. African American women have the highest rates of obesity or being overweight compared to other groups in the United States.
Wait. Read that again.
African American women have the highest rates of obesity or being overweight compared to other groups in the United States.
So when you look at this, this is not some sort of campaign to bash women. No, this is a self-reflection. Look at what the statistics are saying about our women. Look at it. We weren't the biggest women. We weren't the fattest. But a lot of times we let the lust of the media affect our personal image. All right? We let the lust of the world tell us how our beauty standards should be. Give me Ezekiel 16 and 14. My bad.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 14. And thou renown went forth among the heathen.
It said our renown. Renown means fame. Our fame went forth among who?
Among the heathen.
For what?
For thy beauty.
Now read that first bullet point again.
African American women have the highest rates of obesity or being overweight compared to other groups in the United States.
Read that scripture again.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 14. And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty.
So now, back in the day, y'all fame went among every nation for your beauty. Now, your fame is among every nation for your obesity. Look at the change that happened with our people. You were first known as the most beautiful women in the world. But now you're known as the most obese women in the world. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of our health. There's a sister, a young sister, she was like 22, down here in New Orleans, died. Contracted COVID and died. And the one thing that her mother said was she did have an underlying condition. She was obese. Had she not been obese, she probably could have fought it. And that's a lot of our people. A lot. Like I said before, this is not a hate campaign. This is self-reflection. Me as your brother, I'm telling you, to some of y'all, I'm your little brother. To some of y'all, I'm your older brother. I'm telling you that we have to take care of our health as a people. Because the more that they push, this is what look at what the world is doing. They're pushing our men to be women, and they're pushing our women to be obese. They're calling it body positivity because they refuse to reflect and examine themselves. They refuse to go by the standards that women themselves have set. Men didn't say this. Women said it. Women told y'all to wear them long eyelashes. Women told y'all to wear blonde in y'all hair. Women told y'all that y'all needed to be a certain way. Women said all of this. How do we know that? Because women are the ones that promote the vanity. If you ain't got this, if you ain't got this bag, if you ain't got these heels, if you ain't got these jeans, and the world sucks that up. It sucks that up. You can't continue on the same path and think that nothing is going to happen. There's going to be adverse effects. There will be adverse effects. That's why a lot of our sisters suffer from depression. Because that false body image gives them that false sense of, oh, I need to be like this. Oh, I need to be like that. But when you have a man that says, I don't like you with makeup, you think something wrong with him. Why you think something wrong with him? Because there's other women that you know that wear makeup. They do the tutorials, and you think they look beautiful. But we all see what actually happens when you everybody have seen those videos where they have the woman, one minute she looks cute, and then the next minute they snap, and then they show her with no makeup on. Everybody like, oh my God. And they say the magic of makeup or the deception of makeup or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It goes to show you that that stuff is not real. It's making you more phony. So you're masking yourself. Why? Because you don't like your regular image. Your regular image is what it's supposed to be. And sometimes it may take work to keep that image. Now go to the other one, the smash one. So a lot of people would argue, and I know people are going to do it. A lot of people will argue, well, black women are just naturally bigger than other races. We just have bigger hips and bigger butts and bigger breasts, and that's just how we are. We're just blessed. We're well endowed. Well, let's see if that's actually, in fact, true. Now, this is a comparison from women from the 1980s to now. This is a 30 to 40 year difference, okay? This ain't even going to the 70s, 60s, and 50s. This is just the past 40 years, all right? Read that.
The average American's weight change since the 1980s is starting. There's no doubt about it. Americans are getting heavier and heavier. But new U.S. estimates may still come as a shock, since the late 1980s and early 1990s The average American has put on 15 or more additional pounds without getting any taller.
So the average American, us as a nation, we've gotten bigger. As a nation, we've gotten fatter. We've gotten bigger. And we didn't grow any taller. It's not like, all of us is walking around 6'5" and we 250. Some of us 5'5" and we 250. 5'7" and we almost 300 pounds. 5'10", 400 pounds. Why are we going through this? Why are we showing these things? The Lord is directing us into a direction of health. In order to care about your health, you have to care about your diet, what you put in your body. This is a double-edged sword. This is going to men and women, but the PCOS thing is really about the sisters. All right? So remember, the first video showed that the second biggest cause for PCOS was weight gain. I'm showing you that it's not just black women are just thicker. No. We all have gained weight, but watch this. When looked at by race.
Okay. When looked at by race, black Americans gain the most on average.
So black Americans gain the most on average. The most. Men and women. Watch this.
Black women added 22 pounds despite staying the same average height.
So how could black women just be naturally thick, but y'all not naturally tall? You can't use that now. Oh, we just naturally bigger. No. You've gotten bigger over the years. Why? Fast food, processed food, hormone-induced food, hormone-filled food. And all of the hormones is going to your rear end. They're going to your chest. They're going to all of these different places, your thighs and all of that stuff. And you think, oh, I'm going to put on some leggings and I'm going to look good because I can incite the lust of other men. When a lot of look at the life expectancy of black people. It's not that long. It's not that long. Why is it that we waddle through Walmart? We waddle through Walmart. We wade in Walmart like we in a pool. Most of our women are the ones that's pushing the motorized carts. Everybody else, they're old. With our people, they're big. We have to examine ourselves. This is self-examination. If men had to do it, guess what? Women have to do it as well. We getting on brothers, and y'all see it. We getting on brothers' heads. I myself lost 50 pounds. So when it comes down to it, we're trying to lead by example. Read on.
When looked at by race, black Americans gained the most on average. Black women added 22 pounds despite staying the same average height. Black men grew about 1/5 of an inch on average, but added 18 pounds, the study found.
Black men added 18 pounds. 18 pounds. That's nothing to sneeze at. 18 pounds is the difference between being obese or overweight, normal weight or overweight. When you look at it, look at our environment. McDonald's wasn't popping like how it's popping before. We were smaller. We ate home-cooked meals. As soon as we started eating processed food, that's where all the weight gain comes from. How is that? And then along with all of this weight gain, what do we have? We have upset black men and black women. Everybody, we went to remember we went to Tallahassee for the Tallahassee Expo. I'm in the crowd. I'm asking people, hey, this is our history in the Bible. Do you believe in the Bible, stuff like that. Then something just hit me, and I had to ask like 3 or 4 people. I'm like, hey, can I ask you a question? Why do you look so upset? Like everybody's out here to have a good time, so they say. And you walking around with a frown on your face. Like, why are you even here? Like, what are you so upset about? And really, nobody really had an answer. It was just, well, that's our people. Why are our people always walking around mad? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because as a people, we're depressed. And we binge eat and we comfort eat because of that depression. Now watch this. PCOS also prohibits a woman from being able to conceive. All right? It's hard for them to conceive. And if they do conceive, they have a high risk of miscarriage or not carrying the baby to term. All right? PCOS does this to our women. So a lot of times when women have PCOS, they have irregular menstrual cycles. And when they have irregular menstrual cycles, what does Esau put you on? Birth control. Because they got to regulate the menstrual cycle. But in regulating the menstrual cycle, guess what you have now? Sterilized women. Women that can't get pregnant because they have to take birth control because they have to have a regular cycle. And without the birth control, there's no regular cycle. No regular cycle, then that means that there's no chance of pregnancy. There's a higher chance of health issues, even though there's a chance of health issues taking birth control, but still in all. You're sterile either way. You're partially sterile, and then you're all the way sterile with the birth control. You got to see what this stuff is doing, but all of it can be fixed. Now, I'm going to show you what comes with depression. Go to Tobit chapter 3, verse 7. I'm going to show you what comes, because whether our women want to admit it or not, all of them want to have children and a family. You can even look at the sodomite community. You look at the sodomite community, they all want a family. That's why they say, oh, well, we ask the question a lot of times, we say, well, hey, if everybody in the world became sodomites, would the population still be able to reproduce? They say, yeah, because, you could just take the sperm over here and then you could, inject it in a woman over there and she could still get pregnant. All right. You know what that means? They still want the family structure. They still want the family environment. Every single one of them wants a family, whether with a man or whether with a woman. They want a family. When you look at it, if women can't have children, they get extra depressed. This happens. And PCOS, if PCOS is causing the inability to conceive, you know what's going to happen? That's going to bring about depression. Read that, Tobit 3 and 7.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 3, verse 7. It came to pass the same day that in Ekbani, a city of Media, Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, was also reproached by her father's maid.
So, remember, Sarah was the young lady who was Raguel's daughter, who Tobias married. All right? Now, this young woman was reproached by her father's maids, meaning the women that worked for her father was teasing her. Let's see what happened. Read on.
Verse 8, because that she had been married to 7 husbands, whom Asmodeus, the evil spirit, had killed before they had lain with her. Doest thou not know, said they, that thou hast strangled thy husbands?
They said, don't you know that you killing your husbands? Every man that marry your behind, they die. Look at you. Girl, you don't know you killing these men? You don't know that you killing these dudes? What's wrong with you? Read.
Thou hast had already 7 husbands.
You done had 7 husbands already? Read.
Neither was thou named after any of them.
You ain't even take on nobody's name. You had 7 husbands and your last name's still the same. Girl, what's wrong with you? When the women hear that, they get upset, they get angry, they get depressed, they feel like they're not worth nothing. Why? Because the opinion of other women affect you. That's why you do what you do. That's why fashion is what it is today. You could ask a lot of men. I know a lot of brothers that shop at Walmart. You let your wife or your girl know. You should be having a wife. You shouldn't be having a girl in the first place. But you let them know, yeah, I went to Walmart, pick something up for you. Walmart? Boy, you crazy? You better go to Dior or something like that. You better get me some Louis Vuitton. You better give me some red bottoms, some Gucci. You better go get me a Birkin bag or something. Now, why you need all them name brands? They ugly as hell anyway. I don't care what nobody say. All that stuff ugly. Burberry was nothing but plaid. Gucci is nothing but Coach with a G on it. Coach ain't nothing but Payless. Look in your history, see if I'm lying. They had purses at Payless that look exactly like Coach purses. And you couldn't tell the difference. Come on now. Y'all, women affect other women. That's why you wear blonde hair. That's why you wear the extra long eyelashes. That's why you wear the different color weave. That's why y'all all wear leggings. Because everyone wants to say that they look better than the next one. It's a vanity show. As soon as you step away from that, when you come out of her, my people, you start to see, okay, beauty is no more defined by how much cleavage you show. It's no more defined by how much rear end you can show or you can shake. It's no more defined by that. It's defined by this. A woman could be a 10 by looks, but she's a 3 when she open her mouth. Y'all got to understand something. Men look at beauty a lot different. Read on.
Verse 9. Wherefore doest thou beat us for them? If they be dead, go thy ways after them.
They said, why you messing with us? You getting all upset at us. They the ones dead. Won't you kill yourself and go with them? That's called bullying nowadays. Nowadays, that would be called bullying. Girl, kill yourself. Girl, won't you just end your life? You don't even need to be here. Just die. Read on.
If they be dead, go thy ways after them. Let us never see of thee either son or daughter.
We don't even want to see your kids. Won't you die? We don't even need to see your children. Why? Because she couldn't even get a man to lie with her in the marriage chamber because they all died. So you know what that means? She can't have kids. If she can't have kids, how does she feel? Like less of a woman. Read on.
When she heard these things, she was very sorrowful, so that she thought to have strangled herself. And she said, I am the only daughter of my father, and if I do this, it shall be a reproach unto him, and I shall bring his old age with sorrow unto the grave.
She said, I might as well kill myself. But man, if I kill myself, that's going to destroy my daddy because I'm his only child. But the thought of killing herself came across her mind. That's where depression will lead you. The reason why I'm going this route is to show you that if PCOS messes with your ability to conceive, depression is sure to follow and suicide is not behind that. How do we know this? Go to Sirach 30 again. Start at verse 21.
This the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 21.
And as a man that has dealt with a woman with depression because of PCOS, it's not a joyous ride. They don't like it as much as you don't like it. So you brothers that have wives, y'all have to understand, if your wife is going through certain things, she's having these mood swings, she's getting depressed because she's dealing with the PCOS, you know what you got to do? You have to encourage her to change. Encourage her to change the diet. Encourage her to take advantage of the health benefits that the Lord has shown us. These things are possible. I'm living proof of it, and my wife is living proof of it, and another sister in the congregation is living proof of it. Living proof of it. My wife had it since she was 16 years old. Probably before that, before she got diagnosed. Well, she had it before that in order to get diagnosed. You know what I'm saying? But she's been on birth control since 16. Was always told she'll never have kids. We have 2. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because you have to take care of your meat and diet. If not, this is what's going to happen.
This the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
That's what Sarah did. Sarah listened to what the maid said and was like, man, damn, maybe I should just kill myself. She thought of that. That thing crossed her mind. Why did it cross her mind? Because her thoughts were heavy. Her thoughts were heavy. Why? Because a woman's worth is in her ability to bear children. If they feel like they can't bear children, they feel useless. You have to understand that. Women feel useless if they can't bear children. That's why a lot of women with PCOS, they're depressed. And it's because of the thought that they can't bear children. Read on.
The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. Love thine own soul, and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow had killed many, and there is no profit therein.
Sorrow kills many. Now watch this. Jump up to verse 17. I told you we was going to come back here.
Verse 17. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness.
And that's the thought process with a lot of our sisters that can't conceive. I'm useless. I might as well just kill myself. I can't have kids. I might as well just end it. But right here, right now, we're here to show you all that y'all can get it over it. Y'all can beat it. You will be able to have kids if you do what's told to you today. If you go outside of this, it's not going to work. I know that side of it as well. All right? I know that side of it as well. If you stick with it, it's not a diet. It's a way of life. You have to change your entire way of life, how you deal with things and what you do and how you eat. Everything can be fixed, especially this. But you have to stick with it. If you don't stick with it, it's not going to work and you will have problems. All right? Now, from there, give me Sirach 38 and 4.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 38 and verse 4. The Lord had created medicine out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them.
So God made medicines out of the earth. What does he mean by that? Go to Genesis 1. God made medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Read. 29 should be.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth.
He gave us what?
And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth.
So which is upon the face of all the earth. The Lord made medicines from the earth. The herbs bearing seed are your medicine. Period. The herbs bearing seed are your medicine. When you look at this stuff, it may seem like, oh, it's the same old scriptures, but guess what? The application can be applied many different ways. And PCOS, guess what? It can be beat. You don't have to live with that your whole life. One of the main causes is obesity. The second biggest cause, insulin resistance. Insulin resistance. Go to the other one, the keto, yes. Ketogenic diet work for type 2 diabetes. Remember the Elamite lady, she said that these effects, especially the insulin resistance, affect type 2 diabetes patients as well as people with PCOS. So, high blood pressure or hypertension, diabetes 1 and 2, and PCOS all fall within the same dietary restrictions. All of them. If a person has diabetes 2 and they have to eat a certain way, someone with PCOS has to eat the exact same way. The exact same way. You can't deviate from it. All right? Now, go to the part that I told you. Make it a little bigger. All right, read that.
The ketogenic diet and diabetes. The ketogenic diet severely restricts carbohydrates.
So, it severely restricts carbohydrates. For those of y'all who want to do your research, research what carbohydrates do to your body. Carbohydrates, and that's hydro means water. So a carbohydrate is something that you eat, and when it gets into your body, it expands. That's why certain carbohydrates like rice, spaghetti, it's very filling because it expands as it's in your body. But carbohydrates, as far as digestion goes, they have very little nutritional value. So when they can't be used, your body turns them into simple sugars. Simple sugars are very hard to burn off. Simple sugars are also stored in your body in your fat. So then that causes weight gain. But a ketogenic diet severely restricts carbohydrates. Read.
It forces the body to break down fats for energy.
It causes the body to break down the fats for energy, not the carbs. You don't break down carbs for energy. You break down fats for energy. Read.
The process of using fat for energy is called, how you say that? Ketosis. It produces a fuel source and called ketones.
Called ketones.
Ketones, I'm sorry.
So the fuel source is called ketones. The diet itself is called ketogenic. Right? So if you have a ketogenic diet, what is it going to do for your blood sugar levels? Let's see. Scroll down.
A ketogenic diet may help some people with type 2 diabetes because it allows the body to maintain glucose levels at a low but healthy level.
So, think about it, think about it, think about it. If insulin resistance causes diabetes, and insulin resistance is also attributed to PCOS, if you keep your glucose levels down, you have no insulin resistance. Your body is not fighting and causing excess sugars to enter into you that your body won't use, then it's going to make your body fat. It won't happen. It'll keep them low but healthy. So instead of trying to suck in all of this glucose, it's only sucking in a little bit at a time. Read on.
The lower intake of carbohydrates in the diet can help to eliminate large spikes in blood sugar, reducing the need for insulin.
So every time you eat, blood sugar level spikes, and insulin comes because there has to be a balance in your body. So without the spike in blood sugar, there's no need for insulin to come out. When that happens, guess what? You're no longer operating your body as diabetic, or you're no longer operating your body as a body of PCOS. It all goes into what you eat. It all goes into how you treat your body. All right? Keep on going.
Studies on ketogenic diets, including research from 2018, have found that they can be helpful in controlling levels of HbA1c. This refers to the amount of glucose traveling with hemoglobin in the blood over about 3 months.
So they study these things. Why do they study these things? Why is a ketogenic diet so important? Go to the video that says diet. Now watch this.
Hi, I'm Dr.
Pause it. Go to Daniel chapter 1, verse 10. I'm going to show you where a diet can play a serious role in your health. And we're going to read it out the scriptures. Read that.
Daniel chapter 1, verse 10. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who had appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse, liken than the children which are of your sort? Then shall you make me endanger my head to the king.
So the eunuch was like, bro, why y'all not eating? If y'all start to look sick, this dude is going to kill me. Watch what Daniel said. Read on.
Verse 11. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mikha'el, and Azariah. Prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat.
Pulse is like oatmeal, or pulse is like it's a plant-based meal. Let's put it like that. It's a vegan meal. Daniel said, look, they over there eating all that meat. Give us a vegan meal. Give us a vegan meal. We'll take that. And then you can see how we look after 10 days. Read on.
And let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenance be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat. And as thou seest, deal with thy servants.
So look, you got to understand. I'm not telling people not to eat meat. Okay? I love chicken. I had goat yesterday. Okay? So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. This is merely for women with PCOS. Y'all can't enjoy goat as much as everybody else. Okay? Not until you get your symptoms under control. That's my advice. You can do what you want. My advice is follow this diet that I'm going to give you. Follow the steps that I'm going to show you. You can get rid of it, and you will start to see you won't even need birth control to regulate your menstrual cycle. You can get off of birth control. You will have a regular 27 to 28-day cycle. Okay? It will be regular. It will be on time, and nothing will be missed. You will also lose weight. You will also get healthy. You will feel better. Your confidence will come back. You will feel like a woman. Read on.
So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat.
So they looked healthier than the children who ate the king's meat. And they ate vegetables. That's all they ate. They ate vegan diet. And they looked healthier. Everybody be looking at Tabitha Brown, right? They all look at Tabitha Brown, and every time she say her age, everybody like, oh, my God, I can't believe, what? You and your husband is how old? Y'all got kids that's how old? But when you look at it, how do they eat? They eat healthy. So they look a lot younger. Your diet has anti-aging properties. That's why they got a lot of older people who look young as hell. I remember they had a 75 or 77-year-old woman. She looked like she was at least 40. She's 77. Looked like she was 40. You got to understand diet plays a big role in how your appearance is and how the inside of your body works. So play that video.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mikha'el from New Hope Fertility Center. Welcome back, New Hope family. I'm here to talk to you today about PCOS and what's the best diet for women with PCOS. So women with PCOS are prone to insulin resistance, or their body doesn't respond very well to insulin. Many women with PCOS eat what's called a low glycemic diet, so foods that don't raise insulin levels a lot.
We just went over that. She said most women with PCOS eat a low glycemic diet. Glycogen or glucose is sugar in your body. That's all it is. If they eat a low glycemic diet, what kind of diet are they eating? A ketogenic diet. They're eating keto. That's what they're eating. They're eating foods that are low in carbs, high in fat, good fats, like avocados. Play on.
Lower carbohydrate diet, less processed food, and more proteins. When women with PCOS choose to eat carbohydrates, you want to choose things like...
So, they said less carbohydrates, less processed foods. Leave the Burger King and the McDonald's and all of that alone. Hell, if you still eating that in this day and age, bro, something wrong with you. You really are depressed. If you got to go to Burger King to get something to eat, you depressed. Let's just call it what it is. That's not healthy at all. You can't sit up here and call yourself a healthy person and you getting foods that are causing you to be upset. The food causing you to be upset. Now remember the scripture, look that scripture up for me. Death in the pot. 2 Kings 4:40. 2 Kings 4:40. Now, you gotta look at this. You gotta look at this. When people fix food, right? Especially when your mama fix food or your grandma fix food or your daddy fix food or you got an uncle that fix food and they love what they doing, they love the food that they making, it tastes good. They say, this food was made with love. And you know what I'm saying? You feel good after you eat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, I appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, got me all good, feeling all good. I ain't even stuffed. Y'all got some apple pie over there? I want some apple pie, too. I want sweet potato pie. Black people don't eat pumpkin pie. We eat sweet potato pie. I don't know who the hell came up with pumpkin pie, make a pie out of a pumpkin, but y'all tripping on that one. Read that.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 4, verse 38. And Elisha came unto Gilgal, and there was a dirt in the land. And the sons of the prophets were sitting before him. And he said unto his servant, set on a great pot, and seethe pottage for the sons of the prophets.
It says seethe pottage for the sons of the prophets. That could be meat. That could be vegetables, because pottage is either or. All right? Sometimes it's a mixture. Because, Jacob was cooking meat and lentils at the same time. So, say, cook the pottage. Read on.
And one went out into the field to gather herbs, and found a wild vine, and gathered there of wild gourds his lapful, and came and strewed them into the pot of pottage, for they knew them not. So they poured out for the men to eat. And it came to pass, as they were eating of the pottage, that they cried out and said, O thou man of God, there is death in the pot.
There's death in the pot. Now, we know that, it's because they had no idea what those vines were, and they ate them. It was probably either nasty or, maybe even made them sick or whatever like that, because there's certain herbs that induce vomiting. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that induce vomiting, and probably happen, but still in all, when you make things, the spirit goes into it. That's why you brothers and sisters on the kitchen team, if y'all are in the kitchen and y'all on the kitchen team and y'all making food with hatred, guess what's going to be all through the congregation? Hatred. People are going to be eating the food and mad and don't even know why. Because that spirit of hatred that you had is all up in the food that they eating. So you got to understand the diet. Rewind it again. Halfway to what it is now. Right there.
Very well to insulin. Many women with PCOS eat what's called a low glycemic diet, so foods that don't raise insulin levels a lot. Lower carbohydrate diet, less processed food, and more proteins. When women with PCOS choose to eat carbohydrates, you want to choose things like whole grains, beans, nuts, these type of foods, which are low glycemic index foods.
So, you want to choose whole grains, quinoa, all right? Black rice, wild rice, all right? There's certain fruits that have carbs in it, like bananas. You want to choose nuts. Those are carbohydrates, but those are low glycemic. They don't raise your blood sugar levels. So if you get some lightly salted pistachios, you know what I'm saying? You get you some cashews. You get you some trail mix. Eat berries. Berries are nature's candy. Blackberries. I love blackberries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Eat those things. Stop snacking. Stop snacking. And I'm going to let you know, cutting out carbs in your diet is going to make you irritable. Cutting out carbs in your diet will make you irritable because it's not getting, your body is not getting that dose of sugar that it's used to. So you're going to become irritable. Get past the irritability stage, and you're going to be fine. Every time that there's a detox in your body, there are certain side effects that happen. You may get acne. You may get irritable bowels. You may get upset. You may have headaches. But your body is removing all of those things out of your body. So when you have these things, when you have those carbohydrates and you cut them out, you will become irritable for a second. But guess what? You can get past it. All right? You can get past it. It's all right. Go back to the video.
Raise your blood sugar and then don't raise your insulin as much. So these are good choices for women with PCOS. Now, some women with PCOS are overweight. And for women who are overweight, if they're able to lose weight, lose even 5 or 10% of their body weight, that has been shown it can really shift hormone levels. So for women who are normal,
PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, is a hormone imbalance that affects a lot of our sisters. Another thing that affects a lot of our sisters is obesity. This woman was the second person that said obesity is attributed to PCOS. Your body won't be able to carry a child if it's overweight. It can't handle it. That's why the scripture said if you keep the commandments, you're going to be saved in childbearing. Part of the commandments is eating right. Eating right. You got to. It's a must. You have to eat right. Play that part, rewind it again.
And for women who are overweight, if they're able to lose weight, lose even 5 or 10% of their body weight, that has been shown it can really shift hormone levels. So for women who are normal weight, you can focus more on the low glycemic index foods. But for women who are overweight, if you can lose even 5 to 10%, that can get your hormones balanced enough that your periods become more regular, and it really improves your fertility as well.
Stop.
Thank you for joining.
So look at what these doctors are saying. If you lose the weight, your periods will become regular. Your body will start to regulate itself. Remember, you're already susceptible to the weight gain because of how you eat. The sugar levels raise, so does your weight. Go to Sirach 31, verse 19.
This the book of Sirach, chapter 31 and verse 19. A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured.
A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured, or a woman well nurtured. You can go a while without eating. You don't have to eat 3 times a day. Us here in America, we're spoiled. I hear too many stories about the leadership when they go to Ghana and all of that stuff and in different parts of Africa. They don't eat every day. They don't eat multiple times in a day. They may eat only once. That's why there's not a lot of fat people over there. The fat people are rich. Now think about it. In these third world countries, what they call third world countries, the fat people are the rich people. And the people who are lean are the poor people. Flip it onto the Western Hemisphere. The fat people are the poor people. And the lean people are the rich people. It goes to show you that there's something in the food that's killing you. It's like a balloon. You blow a balloon up, it gets bigger. You keep on blowing, it's going to pop. That's us. If you keep on eating, you're going to pop. It's going to either be stroke or heart attack. You have to understand that these things are important to know. The biggest way to get over it is weight loss. That's step 1. That's step 1. Avoid processed foods, meaning fast foods. Those pre-made meals in the grocery store. YouTube can show you a lot. If you sisters don't know how to cook, you better use this. Go to Titus 2. Y'all don't know how to cook? You better get up under an elder sister or aged sister that do know how to cook. You better start learning, because that's going to save your life. Read that, Titus 2.
Titus chapter 2 and verse 3. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not give.
So behavior that becometh holiness. That's very broad, isn't it? So if you have a sister that doesn't take care of herself hygienically, are you going to go and take hygiene advice from her? If you have a sister that she's always upset and arguing with her husband, mouthing off to her husband, are you going to go counsel with her? No. You're not going to counsel with her about marriage. She's going to make a number 2 of you. You're going to be her duplicate, and then you're going to have another out-of-order marriage. You go to those women that have the behavior as becometh holiness. Read on.
Not giving too much wine.
Those women that ain't drunk. You can't counsel with a woman that drinks all the time about not being drunk all the time or not drinking all the time. If she drinks all the time, that's probably not the woman you want to counsel with. Read.
Teachers of good things.
Teachers of good things. What are the good things? The things that we went over today. The things that are going to stop the PCOS symptoms from forming. Read.
That they may teach the young women.
That those aged women have to teach the young women what?
To be sober.
To be sober. Read.
To love their husbands.
To love their husbands. Hey, women, just putting it out there as a husband and a man and a father and someone who has lost a lot of weight. Men love fit women. We do. Now, we know who we married, so we know that certain things we have to tell you a certain way. You know what I'm saying? But you know your husband. When you met him, you was a certain size. And, of course, we all know with age we all get a little heavier. But some of y'all let yourself go. I seen it on TikTok the other day. I'm looking at our TikTok videos, right? So I see on TikTok, it say, me before I had my BF. And she was all done up and stuff like that. Me after I had my BF. And she all decrepit. Look, she wearing muumuus and bonnets. She part of the bonnet crew now. Done let herself went. Done let herself went. Like what somebody can say, bust open like a can of biscuits. Just look like a can of biscuits. Just so you know you got the can of biscuits and you take the wrapper off and you got to press the little thing and it pop like that. That what our women be looking like. First you look like the can. Nice and attractive, like, ooh, them biscuits look good. I like that. Then you bust the can open, it's like, oh my God, what happened? Hey, men got to take care of themselves. And if you men are not taking care of yourself, you better. You have a nation to raise up. And you got to be healthy in order to do it. You're an easy target if you're overweight. You're an easy target if you're not taking care of yourself. You're an even easier target if you suffer from depression and you binge eat and comfort eat. You're an even bigger target because all it takes is outside influences for you to feel bad enough about yourself to not put up a fight. Depression hath killed many. Depression hath killed many. Read on.
To love their children.
Uh-huh.
To be discreet.
So in order to love your children, you got to teach your daughters how to be. That goes back to Ezekiel 16 and 44 that we was reading. Go back, Ezekiel 16:44. 16:44.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, and verse 44. Behold, everyone that useth proverb shall use this proverb against thee, saying, as is the mother, so is her daughter.
Because if the mama overweight, the daughter going to be overweight. If the mama disrespect her husband, the daughter going to disrespect her husband. Women raise duplicates of themselves, whether they like it or not. That's why Bishop always say, you want to know a woman? Go meet her mother. If you want to know how a woman will be, meet her mother. How her mother is how she's going to be. And I say it all the time. I tell my mother-in-law and her mom, I say, y'all the same person. And they both get upset when I say that. Wanna know why? Because they can't stand how the other one is. But you raised this. Who raised you? She did. She raised you. How you gonna get mad at that? You raised that. That's your byproduct. When you look at that's what it is. As is the mother, so is the daughter. If mama didn't cook, guess what? A daughter ain't gonna cook. It's not just gonna appear. You're not just gonna be wifey material. Wifey material comes with an addition. Beauty is a liability. It costs to stay beautiful by the worldly standards. Because you got to buy hair. You got to perm hair. You got to buy makeup. You got to buy all these excessively expensive clothes, trying to keep up with people that don't even know or like you. You got people that's fighting. They dying to follow. They killing to follow. And they dying to get followers. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's dying to lead. They all killing to follow. You want buku followers, but guess what? You got very little time to look at yourself because you steady putting on a mask. You steady putting on a mask. You steady putting on wigs, makeup. That's a mask. That's a disguise. People do that to mask who they really are. They put on wigs. They put on makeup because they don't want the real them to be seen. That's what prostitutes used to do back in the day. They used to wear different color wigs. Why? Because they're unrecognizable with all of that stuff on. You know what I'm saying? That's what they used to do. And that's the fashion that our women follow. You see Esau doing that? No. Not on a large scale. You may have them little Edomite girls that try to hang out with sisters and try to be like them. But that's not them as a whole. We the ones that's overweight. As a people, we overweight, men and women. And as a people, our women is the ones that you see on social media, constantly shaking themselves up. Constantly, everybody got to put their butt in the camera. Why is it mainly our women that's doing that? Like, there was one time, one of the officers told me, sisters was stuck on the side of the road, had no idea how to fix their car. So in order to get attention, you know what they start doing? They start twerking on the side of the road to get somebody attention. You got to be kidding me. They start twerking on the damn side of the road in order to get somebody attention, to get help with their car. This is where our people are. When you look at this stuff, all of this stuff comes from a poor self-image. A poor self-image creates depression. Depression causes erratic behavior. That's where the mood swings come in at. That's where the overeating comes in at. The binge eating, the comfort eating. All of that stuff plays a big role in how our women do themselves. Now watch. So we talked about what PCOS is. Matter of fact, go back to the first video. I want you to finish playing that. Rewind it a little bit and finish playing it.
Diabetes, but this actually plays a role in PCOS as well. It happens throughout the body. It happens especially in the ovaries. Insulin levels in the ovaries can increase the male hormones when insulin resistance is playing a role there.
Stop.
So what's actually going on?
She said, I want you to rewind it again. It said, insulin resistance in the ovaries does this.
And you can realize this is what gives people a higher chance of type 2 diabetes. But this actually plays a role in PCOS as well. It happens throughout the body. It happens especially in the ovaries. insulin levels in the ovaries can increase the male hormones when insulin resistance is playing a role there.
Stop.
So
It said insulin resistance in the ovaries can increase the male hormone in the woman's body. This causes women to have what? Facial hair, acne. If you have a lot of testosterone in a woman, what is she going to act like? A man. She's already sterile, halfway sterile, and then fully sterile when she got to get on birth control to regulate her periods. Then she's going to start acting like a man. Because she's already big, she's got facial hair, and she has insulin resistance, so she ain't getting the estrogen that she needs. So she's a big, hairy man right now. This is what happens. This is what happens. If you don't take care of your diet, this is what's going to happen. Play on.
So what's actually going wrong in PCOS? What's happening with your body when all these symptoms are coming up? It's definitely an imbalance between your male and your female hormones. The extra male hormones that are building up at this point are giving you those symptoms of acne, which men usually get more than women do, of those thick black hairs on the face or in those embarrassing places, of that hair fall. That's all coming from the male hormone being more predominant over the female hormone. What about the other symptoms of not getting enough periods in a year? How does that happen? Remember in biology class when we were taught about the menstrual cycle of a woman? We were taught that every month a woman makes an egg. If that egg is not fertilized and if pregnancy does not happen, then the lining which the female womb had prepared in case pregnancy happens, that lining needs to be shed off, and that gets shed as a menstrual period. But what if you're not making an egg every month? Then that lining is not getting prepared every month, and you're not getting a period to shed every month. That's what's the reason why you don't get periods as often when you have PCOS. It's a sign that you're not ovulating every month. If you have any questions, you should talk to your doctor about it. So until next time, stay tuned and stay glamorous.
So if you're not ovulating, you can't get pregnant. If you can't get pregnant, this is what you think of yourself. Go to Genesis chapter 30, verse 23.
That's the book of Genesis, chapter 30 and verse 23. And she conceived and bare a son and said, God had taken away my reproach.
God had taken away what?
My reproach.
Where did we read that before? Who was reproached before? Wasn't it Sarah? She was reproached by her father's maids. Think about it. Jacob had children by all these other women. What you think they was doing? Look at you. Yeah, you the prettiest, but guess what? You ain't got no babies. You walking around here like you the baddest thing walking, but you ain't got no children. You couldn't even give him kids. You got to understand, women are really catty. Women are very catty. And back then, a woman knew her worth was on her ability to bring forth children for her husband. Nowadays, our women take that gift for granted. Oh, and less than 1% of women are pregnant due to rape. Okay? It's your objection to say yes or no. Women have access to sex. Men have access to marriage. Y'all can say no. I don't want to have sex with you. And men have to, whatever it is, you get turned down, you get turned down. Women, you can't just get married when you feel like it. That's like saying, I'm just going to make a house appear whenever I feel like just going to live in a house. You just make it appear. No. Somebody got to provide that house for you. And, of course, they got the women, I could provide for my own house. I could buy my own house. Well, see how far that goes. See how far that gets you. Because a woman with a house is a woman with control issues. That's hers, mine. Then when a man come into the play, oh, no, I have mine. you come live with me. No, 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 no. That's not how that goes. That's not how that goes. He provides for you. That's the deal. Now, looking at the reproach, looking at what PCOS causes, we know that one factor in changing that is your diet. Now, we went over the ketogenic diet is something that you can do. Now, Israel, this is where you come into play. You have to research what foods to eat and what foods not to eat. Okay? You got to do some reading, Israel. I know we just like, well, tell me what all I got to eat and what all I got to get rid of. That's what we like to do. That's what Israel like to do. Hey, let me look. Well, what all I got to eat? Can you give me a list? How about you look it up? There's keto cookbooks. There's apps. There's an app for that. You can get keto cookbook apps on your phone. You can get keto apps on your phone. You can get things that track your diet. Like, hey, I ate this today and I ate that today. You input that information. It tells you whether or not you're in ketosis. These things, it's readily available. We live in the age of information. But, because I know how Israel is, make that a little bit bigger. We're going to see which foods should I limit or avoid.
Which foods should I limit or avoid?
So go scroll all the way up. Scroll all the way up. We want to make sure that we know what we're talking about and why we're talking about it. Read.
Can my diet relieve symptoms?
Relieve.
Excuse me. Can my diet relieve symptoms of
polycystic
ovary syndrome?
So polycystic ovary syndrome is PCOS. Now watch this.
Which foods should I limit or avoid? White bread.
Wait. Read that part.
Read it. Okay. Refined carbohydrates cause inflammation.
Refined carbohydrates cause inflammation. Okay? That's why a lot of women with PCOS, y'all get headaches a lot. Why do y'all get headaches a lot? Because you're inflamed. A headache is an inflammation in your head. That's why when a lot of us, we go fasting, your body is really detoxing. And that detoxing is getting rid of inflammation. So sometimes you may get a headache. It's inflammation. Read on. Exacerbate
insulin resistance.
That's what we've been talking about for most of the time. It can make insulin resistance worse. Read.
And should be avoided or limited significantly.
So refined carbohydrates cause inflammation, and it should be avoided or limited significantly, meaning you don't eat it hardly ever. Hardly ever. You don't eat it. Read.
These include highly processed foods such as white bread.
White bread, guess what? Bunny bread, get rid of it. Wonder bread, get rid of it. Let that thing go. Ezekiel bread will probably be the best bread that you can probably get. Because it's made out of nothing but plants. And it's in the frozen section. That's how you know it's good, because you got to keep it on ice. Read.
Muffins.
Hey, look. For some reason, insulin resistance causes women with PCOS to eat junk food. I don't know why. Some of y'all don't eat junk food, but you eat a lot of processed foods, which is still causing the same sugar spikes. So you either eat a whole lot of junk food or a whole lot of processed food. But muffins, that stuff is bad for you. Read.
Breakfast pastries.
Them Pop-Tarts, them honey buns, donuts. Leave that stuff alone. Read.
Sugary desserts.
Sugary desserts. I know black people love them some dessert, boy. Leave that stuff alone. Especially if you have PCOS, leave it alone for a solid year. I give it a solid year. Why? Because with the two sisters that I helped, that's what they did. A solid year and everything was gone. Their body was completely reset. Now, you may have the occasional, little hairs come up, but it wasn't like before. hairs get shorter and shorter. You just stay on top of it. It is what it is. You can probably get rid of it fully if you just commit all the way over to a ketogenic lifestyle, not just a diet, not just I'm gonna do this for a little while and then, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go back to what I used to eat. No, because if you do that, those PCOS symptoms are gonna come rushing back. It's not gonna be pretty. Read on.
Anything made with white flour.
Anything made with what?
Anything made with white flour.
White flour. That's why you use almond flour or unbleached flour. That all-purpose stuff. Read on.
Pasta noodles that list salmonella, durum flour, or durum wheat flour as their first ingredient are high in carbohydrates.
Semolina. Not salmonella. Semolina. Semolina or durum flour or durum wheat flour. All right? So all of those things are things to avoid. Keep on reading.
High in carbohydrates and low in fiber. These should be removed from your diet.
Those things have to be removed from your diet. Okay? Like it's just like Leviticus 11. He said if it don't part the hoof and chew the cud, you got to leave it alone. He didn't give you a list. He told you what to avoid. I'm telling you the same thing. What to avoid. Read on.
Pastas made from bean or lentil flour instead of wheat flour are an excellent alternative.
So you get the what's those pasta noodles called that we get all the time? It come in an orange box. Yeah, chickpea pasta, but it was a lenti, banza. You get those banza noodles. They come in penne. They come in spaghetti. Banza. It is made from banza beans. Banza beans is what makes hummus. So they take the beans and they make pasta out of it. That stuff is a what alternative?
Excellent alternative.
Excellent alternative. Read on.
Sugar is a carbohydrate and should be avoided wherever possible.
Sugar is a carb and it should be avoided wherever possible. Wherever possible. I'm gonna be lenient. I'm gonna say this. The only sugar that you should be consuming is the unleavened bread that you eat. Period. That's it. You eat your little piece of unleavened bread, that's it. All that other stuff, cut that stuff out. Read.
When reading food labels, be sure to look for sugar's various names. These include sucrose, high fructose corn syrup,
and dextrose. So sucrose, high fructose corn syrup, and dextrose. Those are the three things that you have to look at the ingredients and watch out for. But if you're eating a whole food plant-based diet or a ketogenic diet, you ain't got to look for all that because you ain't getting processed foods. So when you look at these things, your diet plays a very significant role in what you accomplish when battling PCOS. In short, if you eat a ketogenic diet or a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet and the only meat is fish that's not high in salt, if you eat fish and vegetables, that's it. And your snacking is nuts and berries. Even a lot of don't eat a lot of melons. A lot of melons have a lot of sugar in it. It's natural sugar, but it's still a sugar that's going to spike glucose levels in you that's going to cause your resistance to start to fade off. And it's going to start to affect you. So even though you may be eating fruit like honeydew melons and cantaloupes and all of that stuff, it's still high in sugar, and pineapples especially, it's still high in sugar. It's natural sugar, but it's still going to raise your glucose levels, your insulin levels. All right? So look at the berries, look at the nuts, look at, you know what I'm saying, the ketogenic diets that you have. Get these things. Look, a $9 a month app is surely a whole lot cheaper than a hospital bill. All right? It's a lot cheaper than a hospital bill. So, well, that's it. What I really wanted you sisters to understand is, I know a lot of y'all deal with PCOS. This can be beat. The first thing to do is lose weight. The second thing to do is start a low carbohydrate, low glycemic diet. Eat in a small eating window, 4 to 6 hours. Okay? Eat once a day if you can. Some of y'all are going to have to build up to it. So you start with an 8-hour window. Then you go down to a 6-hour window. Then you go down to a 4-hour window. Then some of y'all may be able to do 1 meal a day. But you have to start to train your body. Guess what? When we go to the wilderness, you got to understand something. When we go to the wilderness, we're going to go with whatever we have. You're not going to pack a suitcase. You're not going to go get a lunch. When salvation comes, and it's coming, when salvation comes, what you have is what you take. And if you're not disciplining yourself now, guess what? You're going to be part of those people in the wilderness that murmur. And when you murmur, you're going to get put to death. You're going to be like, just like our forefathers in the wilderness. Man, I remember the melons and the leeks and the cucumbers and all of that stuff, bro. We ain't got none of that here. But if you have, give me Judges 5:11. If you have done this, if you have applied this scripture, you know what you can do? You can start to prepare yourself. When we go to the wilderness, we're going with what we have. You're not going with no food. You ain't going with no diapers. Ain't no diaper bag to bring. What you have is what you going to have when we get there. Read that.
That's the book of Judges, chapter 5, verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers.
That deliverance is that salvation when those bombs drop. Read.
And the places of drawing water.
The places of drawing waters is here in our captivity. Read.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
We rehearse the righteous acts now. Part of that righteous acts is watching what you eat, having a care of your meat and diet. PCOS can be beat. I know it can because I watched it twice. One was a very severe case where the sister had a menstrual cycle that lasts months. Months. 2-3 months at a time, she's on her menstrual. And now, regular as every month. 28 days, boom. Every 28 days, boom. 28, 29, boom. 27, 28, boom. Regular. How is that? Managing weight. Looking at what you eat. All of this stuff can be beat, sisters. All right? And brothers. And I'm going to let you know, you brothers, y'all better start to rule your houses well. Because if she ain't going to do it unless you apply that pressure. You start to eat keto, you can start to help her eat keto. All right? Like I said before, I love chicken. I love goat. I love lamb. I like beef ribs. But when it came down to the health of my wife, I ate what she ate to give her the encouragement to make sure that she made it through it. Now she can do it by herself. She can go ahead and eat keto and I can eat chicken over here and it's not going to affect her. Her attitude is better. The hormone balance comes back. It comes back. The depression leaves. It goes away. All right? Give me Hebrews 2:1. We're going to close out.
That's the book of Hebrews, chapter 2 and verse 1. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip.
Give earnest heed to the things that we have taught today. Give earnest heed to these things. All right? Unless you're going to let them slip and you're going to be like, what was it that they said? How they brought that thing out? Like, what I got to avoid? Look at all of these different things. All right? Look at these different things. Look at the foods to avoid. Look at the ketogenic diets. The diet for people with diabetes and the diet for people with PCOS is the same exact thing. If you apply it, you will succeed in defeating it. If you don't apply it, it's not going to work. You're going to still suffer with it. You're going to cause yourself all types of mental and physical pain. All right? So I pray that you brothers and sisters glean something from this lesson today. Remember, like Bishop Kanai, Bishop Nathaniel, Bishop Yawasap always say, study, pray, and apply. Shalom, Most High Christ bless.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.